This is the moment in the video. I need to play it again.
And honestly, I'm disappointed in Freddie Couples. I mean, the amount of trash talk he's put on people going to LIV is absolutely ridiculous.
I'm so glad that Matt also recognizes that Fred Couples is out of control. He's out of his lane with his commentary. This is Freddie's most recent masterpiece. To all my friends who I missed birthdays and weddings, so sorry. I was busy earning a living on the PGA Tour, and in my line of work, the goal is to earn your way to work weekends. And by weekends, I mean 72 holes. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Way to quote Demi Lovato.
I want to see the next superstar
say,
I'm going to that LIV. You know why I'm going? Because it is unreal. They play Riviera and they play TPC Phoenix in front of 300,000 people, and they do this and they do that. But I want them to go for free.
Folks, here's a little known fact that you're going to learn today on Big Boy Pants Golf, YouTube's Hottest Golf channel. Women, as they age, go through a thing called menopause. However, it also happens in men, and they go through a thing called manopause. And that's what I think Freddie Couples is going through right now. Symptoms include loss of sex drive, memory loss, and increased likelihood of gaslighting for the PGA Tour.
And then go on CNN and every TV show and say why they're going because it's that good. 100 million doesn't get it. 200 million doesn't get it. 300 million doesn't get it. But for 400, it's a great product and it's a great show. My ass.
Interestingly, it takes $700 million for Ohtani to go to the LA Dodgers, a team with which Freddie Couples has golfed. But Freddie doesn't mention that it took $700 million for Ohtani to go there and that $500 million doesn't get him or $600 million doesn't get him. And it isn't just Freddie. I've got other PGA Tour shills, and unfortunately, a new member of the PGA Tour Shill Club who are going to be analyzed in this episode. So get your testosterone boosters ready, because you're going to need it by the end.
Tell me the next guy. If it's Tony Finau,
Yeah.
I'm going for free, boys. I love this tour. I don't like the PGA Tour anymore.
Now let's take Freddie's insistence that you should go for free and phrase it as such. I can't wait till insert college superstar goes to insert NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB for free. Now it sounds kind of dumb, doesn't it? Amr Galal on X sticks up for Freddie. You guys are missing Fred's point or choosing to ignore it. These guys already had it made on the PGA Tour, the tour that made them and everyone before them filthy rich. The only reason they went to LIV is for more money, and maybe a few had an axe to grind as well. Amr actually has missed the point when you rephrase it as, the only reason Steve from accounting left the company is for more money, and maybe because he didn't like working here. Amr is sounding exactly like HR trying to explain to senior management why all the talent is leaving.
No one's going to do that. So what does that tell me? It tells me it's all about money, which is fine.
It should be fine for Freddie because this guy charges $75,000 for an appearance fee. The range is actually $75 to $150K. His name is Fred Couples, not Free Couples, folks. Kyle Labatt brings up the obvious point that the PGA Tour players also are there for the money because they have the elevated events with the elevated purses and the PIP money. Why does the tour need a $2 billion infusion?
But don't sit there and then go on and say they're changing the game. What are they changing?
54 holes instead of 72 holes, no cut, shotgun start, you can wear shorts, there's a team aspect. The list of how it changed it is longer than how it didn't change it. Freddie Couples is only interested in change if it involves oversized Ashworth golf shirts and FootJoy saddle shoes.
Oh, their tax bracket, bro.
Actually, for 50 years, golf has been changed. Arnold Palmer changed it. Jack Nicklaus changed it. Tiger Woods changed it. The LIV Tour ain't changing a thing.
Freddie's been keeping that same shag bowl cut since he was 18. In terms of memory loss, let's not forget good old Freddie Couples telling Cameron Young that he was on the Ryder Cup team this year. Not so much Cameron Young, as obviously you were overlooked. I don't know what kind of brain fart happens in Freddie Couples to make him think that it's a good idea to misinform Cameron Young so that Cameron Young is getting super excited to be on the Ryder Cup team, and in the end, nothing.
Well, I feel like a large part of the professional game is experiencing something like the Stockholm Syndrome as it relates to being involved with LIV.
Now, let's not forget Brandel Chamblee, who on Twitter years before was Jon Rahm's biggest fan. Brandel Chamblee compliments Rahm as looking very dissimilar to Byron Nelson. He also compares him to Lee Trevino, but with more power. These are top-tier compliments. He also says that Jon Rahm is the only guy up there in the mental department with Tiger Woods. In 2021, Brandel Chamblee thinks that Jon Rahm should have won Player of the Year.
The level of surprise when you heard that Jon Rahm was defecting to the LIV Tour?
Not high at all. I mean, the rumors have been rampant for a couple of weeks. So if you go by the rumors, not at all. But if you go by his comments, over the last year and a half or so, where he was...
Poor Brandel shot this tweet out in June of 2022, complimenting Jon Rahm for his ethical compass and turning down hundreds of millions of dollars. Unfortunately now, not so much.
Where he was adamant that he wouldn't leave for LIV, that he had pledged his fealty to the PGA Tour and said that it wouldn't even be a smart thing for him to do at this point in his career. I'd say there are a lot of people that were surprised that weren't keeping up with the rumors as of late.
Now this Manopause going through guy has to bag on Jon Rahm every chance he can get.
Well, I'm wondering if Jon Rahm got to the point where it's like, all right, there might be a merger. They're going to pay me $500 million or whatever. The PGA Tour kind of went behind our back to try to do this merger.
Dan Patrick pointing out the fact that the PGA Tour drew first blood against Rahmbo by lying to him and the rest of the tour and doing sneaky moves behind their collective backs.
I was a good soldier with Rory and fought for the PGA Tour, and now I can't turn down this money. Does that sound logical in your mind?
Absolutely.
Brandel Chamblee continues by saying that these players may have Stockholm Syndrome and that the June 6th merger was a turning point. And you can see here that at this point, Jordan Spieth and Xander Schauffele lost trust in Monahan. Brandel Chamblee poo-poos the idea that losing Jon Rahm would be devastating to the PGA Tour.
I think that's hyperbole. It would be devastating if Tiger went to LIV. It would be devastating if Rory went to LIV. It'd be devastating if Jordan Spieth went to LIV.
Now, keep in mind, with PIP, this is given to players who generate the most positive influence and essentially move the needle. Jon Rahm finished third this past year.
The fact is, there are very few golfers in the world that move the needle.
It literally makes no sense to say that Jon Rahm doesn't move the needle when he finished third on the PIP money list. The PIP measures and rewards you for moving the needle. And if Jon Rahm didn't move the needle, why is Prince RORY McILROY so eager to flip-flop on his stance before about keeping LIV golfers off the Ryder Cup team for Europe, and now wants the rules changed so that Jon Rahm can be on the 2025 team in Bethpage? Sounds like he moves the needle to me. What's troubling to me is that Padraig Harrington, everyone's affable favorite Irish golfer, is now showing strong signs of menopause. A few weeks after the June 6th merger, no less than venerable great Tom Watson himself came out and wrote an open letter asking for information as to what's going on. And 6 months later, we still have no idea. So a lot of lesser-known players on the PGA Tour came out with a letter which was immediately goofed on by none other than Tron. NLU is taking nonstop L's since the merger, Carter. So I have no idea how this guy, Tron Carter, who's exhibiting strong signs of very early menopause and has been for a few years, can now call these lower-ranked players out when Tom Watson 6 months earlier asked for information, and as of yet, we still have no information as to what's going on. Despite all this lack of knowledge, Padraig Harrington jumps out as politician Patty and says, "Interesting times. I can tell you the PGA Tour has never been more transparent than it is now. We can clearly see here that Padraig Harrington is now going full politician Patty mode, and I'm thinking he wants a run at the DP World Tour head position because obviously Keith Pelley has done a pathetic job on every level, displaying full-blown manopause, highlighted by his multicolored glass collection. Padraig Harrington, do you remember when you weren't a complete PGA Tour shill sellout? Probably not, because memory loss, again, is a sign of menopause.